I appreciate the fact that the Board of Commissioners, and that's what I am as a spokesperson for the Tioga County Board of Commissioners, has an opportunity to explain in the factual side of it, of where we stand in regard to the request for the inquiry of the voting equipment to be reviewed in Tioga County. We haven't for one moment viewed this as an inquiry about the accuracies or accountability. We've not been stonewalling or not agreeing to work with anybody. But we have a requirement based on our role and responsibility to work within the laws that are in place. Whether it's a Republican or a Democratic administration, the law exists. And if were we not to follow the law, the same thing would happen to us that just happened to Fulton County, where their voting equipment was decertified. Once a third party touches the voting equipment, chain of custody has now been challenged. So your leases, your contract, and your equipment are no longer available for an election. We're protecting that. Oh, there's a cost, it's about $1.4 million, $1.5 million, and that would replace all of our equipment. And if that were the case and available, have it. But it was the impression that first you had to have the authority to request it. The senator that did request it, Mr. Mastriano, made that request independent of a committee and or of the leadership of the Senate. So therefore, the request of information that exceeded what would be public was also included in that. So we can't let that go. So our role and our responsibility was to honor, first of all, the law, protect the interests of the voting public, and then what that entails. And it's broad, but not once do we believe if there is inquiry or need for exemption or not, that's not the word, investigation that needs to be held, do it, but not at the expense of the community, but also within the scope of the law. We have not wavered from our role or respect or the dignity of the public and veterans and all included. That's been misrepresented and distorted beyond expectations. It's sad that we've been put in that capacity, but we will follow the law. That's our obligation. And when you take an oath of office, all of us have taken it multiple times. Fidelity is the last word, and we must honor the rules that govern us, and that's what we're doing. The ambition of any social or civic organization that exists in a community suggests these are people who care and would have interest in challenges or activities going on in regard to the county government or any other entity. And the best place to do that is talk to people who care and are invested in their community. It was a change because it was a regular meeting that was going to be taken out of context and turned into some other means. We had no control over that, and Mr. Bunn did not step away. It was respectful of the regular meeting was going to be held, not to distort it and turn it into politics. This isn't political. That's what's wrong with it. It's not political. It's a law. And so we're following that. And the organization was willing to entertain a discussion to get the accountability, which you're allowing here today. And I hope it goes in its entirety, and I shared that with you earlier. It can't be part and parcel. It won't be total. This is not political. The law exists under Republican or Democrat. We're following that, and we will. We will follow the law to the end of this discussion and when it's decided. Quite frankly, Senator Mastriano owns this, and he needs to deal with it in an appropriate and a professional way and indicate that we have not been without a willingness. There are some stipulations that are involved in abiding by that. We're working on a discussion with the personnel that has brought this about. And clearly, we can't be left without equipment that would be decertified. So we need to have appropriate voting equipment in place and available, given changes that may take place. But again, that will only be done if it's within the scope of the rules that this county and all counties are governed by, Republican or Democrat. We are working within the scope of the rules that we are obligated to follow. Around the country, if rules, regulations, and laws aren't adhered to, look at what's going on. Not here. We're going to follow the law, and people say you're hiding behind. No, that's what governs us, and we will do that. But we will work with any entity. If they want them, they're here. But there's a financial obligation and availability of other equipment. We sought and have found additional equipment, and we're ready. You want them, get them today. But we got to work together. And if they need these to make the decision or their findings complete, have them, but not at the expense of this county. We're better than this, quite honestly. We really are. All of us. You can have an opinion, but in the exchange, civility, respect, honor, those are all things that are necessary, and we're losing a lot of it. But we're not going to yield to disrespectful commentary and allegations and all that. We're not going to live in that environment. We'll rise above that. And that's what we're doing here in Tioga County. And I know it will be done across, York County is doing the same thing. Thank you for the opportunity. It means a great deal. Did not say anything that we've not published and that we have not tried to address. And I thank you very much for the privilege to speak to this. Yeah. You've been very respectful of that, and your station has treated the Northern Tier very respectful, and that's why we've granted this.